Traveler, the Man in Red, Chapter 54. They'd been framed. Someone had taken over the Man in Red. He'd made various holographic visions of himself using his temporal wrist device, then left one of these hollow imposters to lead Valentine and Jade into a trap. The moment Jade had dropped the CHRONARCH device onto the Man in Red's wristwatch, the device was instantly teleported to Purge, where the real Man in Red waited. The Man in Red's watch was short-circuited by the process, thus dissolving the hologram and leaving Jade and Valentine completely alone to take the rap. Meanwhile, the Man in Red, or whomever it was, stood comfortably on Purge's bridge, having lost a time watch, but having gained one very valuable CHRONARCH device. Huge rhinoceroses were aiming huge guns at them, demanding to know who they were and the location of the CHRONARCH device. Jade and Valentine were not in an ideal situation. They couldn't answer any relative questions, so they were led back up the stairs from the vault to the office area. Just as they were about to be shackled, Bro came pounding in out of breath. "Wait! Wait!" the young Judan bellowed. "Don't process these suspects. They're informants. They're working with us. I'm taking over the case." Bro bent over his huge rhinoceros head, swallowing giant inhales of oxygen. The head Judan looked down at him. "So, you just transfer to this precinct? Are you sure the command documentation?" Bro thrust out a giant metal folder. One of the other Judan guards accepted it, handing it to the head Judan. The older rhinoceros scanned the contents, then gruffly snorted. "Send them." Valentine and Jade were shoved by a couple of rhinos toward Bro. "They're your problem now. Make sure the situation is dealt with. We can't have the CHRONARCH device unaccounted for. The albino servants of the Shadow Proclamation will be very displeased." Bro nodded vigorously, giant rhino head grinning. "Right. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks. Well, thanks." He ushered Jade and Valentine out the door.
"Oh, seven hells, thank you."
Jade threw her arms around the big rhino head. Valentine said, "I owe you one, fella." Bro shrugged. "Well, guys, that was the easy part." He held out the shattered fragments of the Man in Red's time watch. "The hard part is trying to get this fixed, and maybe getting you guys back to—"
"Where's Purge?"
Jade asked. Bro finished. "Hence the hard part."
"What happened to the Man in Red? Why'd he turn on us like that?"
The shattered red time watch crackled, then sputtered out a garbled message. "Deceit" was the only word Jade could make out.
"Oh, no,"
she whispered. "I don't understand." Bro looked down at the pair. Valentine shook his head. He trailed off, shrugging.
"Madame Tissat."
Jade concluded.
"Bro, you get this damn watch fixed, and I'm going to try to get my memories back."
Bro stared down at the broken watch from the Man in Red. Sure. Jade grabbed Valentine's hand, and they were weaving through the crowds of aliens on the moon, back to the gypsy's hut. Deceit was standing in the body of the Man in Red, on board Purge, in the control room. She'd materialized over Japan in 1867, floating in the air several stories up. This century and this place were marked by Deceit's Ever TARDIS. 1867, Japan was part of the reverse temporal wave arc. The renegade time lady could still win. The door was open. Looking through the crimson eyes of the stranger in scarlet, Deceit stared at the ancient Edo countryside momentarily. Then she gazed at the CHRONARCH device, and Deceit contemplated the future. If she jumped, the Man in Red would die, and she would take over the rest of his lives. There would never be another traveler. Only Deceit. Valentine felt like he'd been waiting outside Madame Tissat's gypsy hut for an hour. It had only been 15 minutes. When Jade tore out of there, she was fuming. Valentine followed behind, calling after. "Is that it then, lady? You remember everything?" Jade turned around and leered at him.
Oh, yes. I remember everything, Jack, Mr. Paradox Sorcerer.
Valentine had nothing but a blank expression to answer her enraged visage. He wasn't the same man. Jade relented for a moment and decided to forge ahead.
I come from a long line of paradox sorcerers myself. I remember that now. But we really don't have time to go over every little moment that's led up to this point.
Valentine jarred as she began striding again, explaining.
Fact is, you and I had a battle. An epic battle in time. A very long time ago that you don't remember.
Okay.
It involved, at one point, a CHRONARCH device. That's how Traveler became a Time Lord in the first place. He died and was transubstantiated.
Right. Valentine was bewildered. Jade continued nonetheless.
Deceit took over my body, became me, and used my abilities to sap yours. She became extremely powerful.
The pair ended up back at the Judon precinct, with Bro standing in a group of technicians. The Rhino was thanking them for the rushed job as Jade finished.
But I can remember now. Her essence was leached from me. Her mind somehow ended up inside Traveler, inside the man in red. And when we all touched that Physotron device...
Deceit was freed. Valentine finished her sentence. I see the dilemma now. Kind of.
Kind of is going to have to be good enough. Where are we at?
Jade asked Bro. Well, good news and bad. Bro looked over at Valentine. The 3 Judon guards from before surrounded Valentine, and one slapped huge shackles on his wrists. What the? I'm so sorry, Bro began, his big rhino head sad. The Shadow Proclamation has you on the Temporal Marauder list, and we have to place you under arrest. Valentine struggled. But I don't even remember what I did.
That's not right.
Jade began to protest.
We may still...
Bro interrupted. No, Jade, I'm sorry. We have to take him into custody. Just temporarily. I promise, we'll work everything out later. For now, he held out the man in red's watch. I think there's someone you need to talk to.
Jade.
The voice was garbled, barely recognizable, but it was Purge's distinct metallic echo.
Purge, where the hell is the man in red? The Shadow Proclamation is taking Valentine away, and I'm stranded here with Bro on the friggin' moon? What the hell am I supposed to do? We can't worry about Valentine right now,
Purge announced. Jade watched helplessly as the misplaced paranormal detective was teleported away, along with the Judon guard, and a flash of light. He was gone. Jade sighed.
All right. I have a plan.
Bro's Judon cruiser blasted too low atmosphere orbit and plummeted through a cloud bank before leveling off in a holding pattern over Japan. They were hovering above Tokyo. Jade nervously looked out over the sprawling urban city as she heard Purge's voice crackling over the red time watch.
Right now, the year is 2222, but back in 1867, where Deceit is headed, this is a simple forest in Edo province. Unfortunately, it's tied to Deceit's time arc, the weapon she set up with her ever TARDIS. Gotcha. Do you? Look, you're going to have to stop the man in red from jumping. If he jumps and dies and regenerates, it's game over. Deceit will have full control of his Time Lord essence. You have to get the CHRONARCH device from him somehow. How do I get there?
Bro opened the bay door.
No.
Jade flatly declined.
It's the only way, Jade.
Purge warned.
And you only have one shot. 7 seconds. You gotta be kidding me.
Bro tilted the hovering spacecraft to the port. Jade gripped the doorway and looked down at Tokyo, so very far below.
Jump!
Purge yelled.